Welcome everybody to Rob's MetalWorks. As you can see, we are here in the home studio. Man, for an interview that I've been waiting to do for quite some time. Brings me great pleasure to welcome the best in Texas metal. And look who I have here. God, the veterans, legends of Texas metal. Jv4, Jason McMaster, and TC Bird Connally. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Pay me. I told you to pay me after.
Oh, I know it was supposed to be under the table.
Yeah. See, I'm new to this. So.
Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Great to have you.
Good to be here, man.
Thanks
for having us.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for having us, Rob.
Yeah.
God, you know, I always refer to Evil United as the super group. Just because, you know, I have so much respect for all the members in the band. And, you know, the band formed in 2011 now. That's pretty accurate?
Is that right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. And
Phone a friend.
it's been a while.
That sounds about right.
It's been a while. And initially, I think people thought that this was just kind of be like a side project, but it's really a real band.
Yeah, let me ask you a question because you were probably there and you probably have a poster or a ticket stub somewhere around here. When Heaven and Hell, Megadeth, and Machine Head played at Verizon Wireless, very close to here, what year was that?
That was 2007?
I think you're right.
That's when the ideal formed.
So you think
For sure.
Heaven and Hell, Megadeth, I forget what tour it was. It wasn't The System Has Failed, I don't know, but Heaven and Hell, yeah, Megadeth, Machine Head.
And y'all were hanging there with our brother Dave McLean.
Yep. And Todd has a story about that hang. You were there.
Yeah, I was over with Donnie Van Stavern, DVS, and we were there to see our friend Dave and some other folks there. And me and Donnie, had a bunch of kind of metal riffs that we had that we really didn't know what we were going to do with, but we just wanted to do something with them. You know what I mean? And then I remember we were in between bands or something. Me and Donnie were rocking around, and we were like, "Man, what's your dream vocalist to put on it?" And I don't know if he said it or I said. I think it's pretty much I said it. I was like, "Well, yeah, Jason McMaster's. You know, if he would put some maybe lay some vocals down on it." And we were like, no, but yeah, we ended up happening upon you at the show. Is that what the deal was? Or later on?
No, it was at that show because I think McLean put me on the list, and that's a reason that I was there. I can't. If I went with somebody else, I don't remember because I shined them and went and hung with y'all. So sorry about that, whoever that was. But yeah, I think McLean put me on the list, and you guys were. So 2007, let's think about that. How long ago was that?
11 years now. Well, 12 years now.
Yeah, 12 years ago. So, okay. So there we are, standing there with all my bros from long ago. Mm-hmm. And you guys were in between. It was like Pitbull Daycare was like just kind of, it was in remnants. Question marks everywhere about it. And this goes along with what Todd was just saying, the idea of, well, what do we do with all of this extra riffage we have for Pitbull shit?
Yeah.
And I was standing there, and they're like, "Hey, you wanna sing on some riffs we got?" And
yeah, that's basically.
yeah, they sent me like it may have been a cassette tape. I don't know.
I think it was. Yeah.
Super old school, and it was. I want to say it was. It had JV playing on it. It was basically Pitbull. I said, "Can you mix it without the vocals on it?"
Yeah.
Sorry, Steve Bishop. So if you take the vocals off, so I can hear it, it will influence me better to try to put pen to paper and try to come up with some kind of shit to put on top of it.
Was the Sodom song already written at that time? Because that is my favorite song. That is my favorite song off the debut.
That's my favorite song, period, that we do.
What was that called before? Do you
Todd,
know
you
what
wrote
the
that
Pitbull?
one.
What was that?
I don't
Have a
think-
working
none
title?
of it, actually,
none of it had any
none of it
vocals
was,
on it?
None of it
already?
was Pitbull Daycare stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because Steven,
Yeah.
Steven, there's
All right.
the singer for Pitbull. He comes from a punk,
Yeah.
indie, industrial background, so he's just like, it's too metal. Nope, too metal.
Yeah, oh,
Yep,
yeah.
this stuff's too metal. And he
But-
loves metal.
But
Yeah,
that
it's
makes
not that.
but that makes sense.
So we
as
had
far-
stuff that
writing
was just,
style.
it was stuff because we were, before Steven got in the band, we were basically a thrash band with Donnie singing, it was more like early Sepultura, that sort of thing. And so it was metal,
Yeah.
So, our roots, me and Jason used to go to basically the same shows in different cities when we were kids,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like Saxon and stuff like that. So, me and Donnie were, obviously Donnie is super metal influenced, where Steven really wasn't. But we had all this stuff that we just couldn't do anything with because he just really wouldn't put vocals on it because he's like, I don't want to go in that direction. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he didn't really.
It was fate.
None of the ideals, vocal ideals were formed at all. I don't think at that point.
So I got the material, and there was something on almost every song. I'll give them that. Maybe it wasn't on every song. There was something in the background, like there would be like a break, and there'd be like a bunch of saw blades, or just a bunch of like, breaking celery or crackly tinfoil noises and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is all the chicken fucking noises that's in between all the break? You got this fucking all this shit going on and all the breaks, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And that was the saw blade, and that was the industrial part of Pitbull type of a thing that they had.
Right.
So, being the cry fucking baby that I am, I called him and I said, "Can you do a mix for me that doesn't have any of that shit in? Because it was just distracting as fuck."
Yeah.
Oh, what's the riff? Ba 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 chickens fucking. Ba 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 chickens fucking. I wanted the chickens fucking gone.
Gone, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that turned into, what song is that?
Rise and Fall.
Thank you. God, yeah, it's so fucking metal.
Yeah.
But I had to get rid of the chickens fucking.
Right.
So then we were off to the races. I started immediately demoing, and we're talking first record right now, the self-titled. So
Was this like that same year that you released the record, or was it like the year before?
it was maybe the record came out maybe a year and a half later, because we had to find a label. We had to finish a record. We didn't know what we were doing. To back up just one step. Rumor has it that JV was already kind of living in Dallas and wasn't in the fold. Can you fill us in on that?
I was in Dallas like that particular
remember.
time frame.
I remember.
Yeah, and Todd called me one day and he said, "Hey, you want to make a old school metal album?" I'm like, "All right." And there you have it. We just can,
How can you say no?
well,
That's what I tell him. How can you say no?
Yeah.
People can say no.
But you can, depending on where you are in life, and everybody knows that.
Sure.
'Cause life
well, when
gets
it's all
in
the
way.
players that it is, it's hard. It's hard,
hard.
to say, "Oh no, I don't want to do that with those guys." Yeah, it was
Jason's such a crybaby.
no comment.
Sometimes I wonder.
Hey,
am
if anybody should be a crybaby and can be a crybaby, I think it's you.
I don't mean to be difficult. I care too much.
And this shit's part of your legacy, and it's going to live on forever. So why not?
But I want people to like it after we like it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So back to my original question. I mean, all of this transpired over a short period of time. The self-titled debut was an amazing record, metal record, of course, and now we sit here 12 years later. Was that always the plan, or was like I said, was this just going to be something short-term, intermediate? Because all of you guys do various projects.
I can answer that one because
take
what it came down to was we were going to do a studio album, right? Just everybody get together, play our stuff, and then again, J-Mac contacts us all one day, says, "Hey man, what do you guys think about playing live in Austin?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Man, I haven't played live for a while," and we're like, "Hey, why not?" One rehearsal, boom, I went and played live in Austin.
That's the way to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
We-
rock and roll.
It was that rehearsal was the first time we had all been in the same room together.
Yeah.
Wow.
One rehearsal, started gigging.
Yep.
I think it was Dirty Dog in Austin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Don't remember anything. Well, I remember
Well,
that you mentioned to back up.
I have pictures. You still had the haircut.
No, I did still have the haircut.
Yeah, you did. You had it. I have pictures. It's kind of awesome, actually.
Saw one of them last night.
The that record, the second record came out in 2014, Honored by Fire, which I was a huge fan of as well. So now, today we're going to talk about the third release, Serpent. It's been 5 years now. Why did it take so long for this third record to come out? Why would you say?
Well, in our brains, it took a little while for the first record to even come out, because it really was kind of slowed up by way of, you're juicy and you're writing, and then you dry up, and then you're juicy and you're writing and you dry up lyrically. And the first record, I think the lyrics are actually the three of us actually end up writing all of the lyrics, whether it be he writes a verse, I write the bridge, I write the chorus, and it kind of just works that way since the very beginning. Like most of the time, the titles, they'll have working titles, and I'll come up with that process. For some reason, maybe it's because we're just like all scatterbrained, because like you said, there's a lot of stuff going on, but we were determined, just as we are right now, to be a band called Evil United, whether it turns back into just a studio project or that we play live. And JV was just asking me, hey, what do you think about playing live? so you know what I mean? It's like the live thing, we don't know. We haven't been asked to do any tours. We can't afford to embark upon our own financed run of shows in order to promote a record that we don't know what's going to happen with it. Right. We just want people to go to Hog Wild and buy it. We'll just play here. We'll play at Hog Wild. Cool. Yeah, I think that it would be badass, actually. Same with Honored by Fire. I think that it took a while to get that fucking thing to work, right? To just be a record.
Well, I think a lot of it too is, has other projects and stuff going on. J-Mac's busy, everybody's busy with other projects. And then you have the personal side of things. We had some setbacks there personally, and then after that, it was so weird because it lagged along there. It was about a 2-year just kind of like, we don't know what's going to happen. And then it was like that last 6 months, I think. It just, man, when the floodgates opened, it was crazy. The album got finished, and then it was just a matter of getting the label to everything done.
Serpent.
Yeah, Serpent. Honored by Fire was, I think that was just more of, we were just trying to figure out what did we want to do, and we weren't really sure. And then after we made Honored by Fire, we kind of knew we wanted to do a third album, and so
you guys were writing immediately. After Honored by Fire, these guys were already writing riffs.
The Viking song, it just blew my fucking mind, dude.
God, it came out pretty good.
Amazing.
It's a heavy metal track. It's a perfect heavy metal track. If I don't say, even if I wasn't involved, when you hear that, just the groove and the riff, it's perfect. It's
when people say, hey, what is metal? That song right there. That's just
pretty much metal.
Defines metal,
And as much as I love Honored by Fire, I think I love Serpent even more. This record is fucking vicious, venomous. It should be. It has a 2-headed snake on the cover.
Yeah, that's
fucking brutal. And not only I think musically, but also I think the production too is just so much more in your face with this record. And Jason, your Vox, just stands out so much more. I think in the mix on this record, that it just like really hits you. And then you got these two guys, their guitar tones. I hear his tone, and I'm like, oh, that's TC. I know his tone already. Just like I know Barragán's tone, There's just certain guitar players who I hear their tone. You too, JV. I hear your tone. And the great thing, too, that I love about this record is that, both of you guys are soloing, doing your thing. It's just an amazing record. So, what brought back that vigor for this one? Because it's a beast. It really is a beast.
A lot of it had to do with the production. And which Jv4 did all the production. He did all the recording and the engineering. The whole package. And a lot have to do with a lot of it. The super heavy stuff is probably a lot of JV4's influence. Me and Jason and originally Donnie, our influences are more, well, at least my influence is a lot more of the new wave of British heavy metal sort of thing. You know, early Iron Maiden. You know what I mean, and that sort of thing. You know, even the '70s Rainbow and stuff like that. UFO, but JV4 is thrash.
You can hear that the aforementioned styles. You can hear that on like songs like Hero.
Operation Overlord.
Yeah, it's kind of, there's a little bit of boogie in it. You know, it's like the old school, like new wave of British heavy metal type of hard rock, but when it was tinged with just, it's all minor but it's boogie beats and tangible, head-bangable beats as far as just, you know, rivets going, you know, machine gun, which that's on there too. You know, the lyrics too, I think, are dark as well. They're darker here maybe than Honored by Fire.
I mean, this one just seemed more Honored by Fire, like you're talking about, like the Viking Funeral. This is more like, I kind of, when I heard, I was like, man, this is really kind of making me feel about what's happening in the world that we live in now. War and death and machination and all this stuff that's happening around us, that we get info saturated with online and on TV and everything.
I think that's happening on the Honored by Fire lyrics as well as on Serpent. I really like that correlation. I actually haven't even thought about it till this kind of questioning is coming up. That there's a little bit of the alien, fantastical kind of, you know, fantasy type of things happening lyrically. Two songs on Honored by Fire, the lyrics were written by Gene Hoglan, and I gave him titles and I said, whatever these make you feel, please just be as brutal as you want. Just be as vile as you want to be. And he fucking delivered. But Tomb Spawn and Ghost Crushed from Honored by Fire, those songs, I think Gene delivered lyrics that kind of brought out. He brought out like a different type of a.
First time I read those lyrics to Ghost Crushed, I was just sitting there thinking, like, my God, Gene, we need to have a talk.
Yeah. There's a different throw there. The Ghost Crush, I think I gave Gene the idea about Ghost Crush being like, depression. So you're on medication, and you're almost seeing things, but what's the alternative?
Right.
And that's a very uncomfortable place. You can't even go to the 7-Eleven and get a fucking Slurpee because you're scared of the monsters crawling around on your head. You know, that's all drug induced. So that was a good, definitely metal and horror show. And Tomb Spawn is just about a zombie serial killer. Like, you're already dead. You're a zombie. I just love killing so much. I'm going to kill you again. Oh, yeah, get back up. Oh, I get to do it again. And it's a masturbatory, right? And that's just a great fucking idea for a song.
I mean, we see
super metal.
We see all these crazy things happening in our world. You know, not only the mass shootings that are occurring even here in Texas, but it seems like there's just this sense of ominous feeling. There's ominous fog that's in our society now, and when I heard this record, it kind of made me feel like that.
You're talking Serpent?
No, well, both Serpent and
they're related. They're related, and I'm really glad we're talking about it. I want to focus on Serpent in a minute, but I'm glad we're talking about that because the correlation, like I said a second ago, I never realized there really is some simpatico. There's some things where they're kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like the box on Hellraiser, It's like, there's some shit going on.
How can it not? Because it seems like so many of us now, we do things and we gotta. It brings upon, at least for me, sometimes this form of alienation where I really don't even want to be out as often as I'd like because of the craziness, and the drama and all the shit that's going on in our world. And I feel like this when I listen to Serpent, it's like this rage and anger against all of the things that have not only happened now, but in our past. I just think now, because of the internet and social media, it's just so more prevalent. Not that it wasn't happening in the past, but now we're just more aware of it as individuals.
Yeah, the violence is part of nature, and it's unfortunate that it can make you have a bad day if you have to hear about it all the time.
It's like, spirited population control. I remember, which, I refer to as spirited, and J-Mac's always population control. He's like, it's not just spirited, because it really
anal
is.
retentive heavy metal lyricist.
Yes.
Right.
But, that song, it's an aggressive song, but the lyrics, when you really listen to what J-Mac put down on it, it's pretty deep. It's pretty heavy, and it kind of alludes to what you were talking about. It's just that what we see on TV today, and how are we being guided, and it's cool to be able to take stuff like that and bring it to light.
Those lyrics are making it seem like people in control think it's okay to have all of this mass casualty. And it's like, it's just part of doing business, not giving a shit about anyone except for the bottom line, and not well man, all these people are dying, and at what cost are you saying it's okay to just be the way that the decisions you're making? It's like people are just falling to their deaths, and you're like, they just got in the way. So spirited population control is exactly about that.
Wow, that is deep. That is deep, and I do think that happens.
It's happening.
Yeah, it's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening.
When it started to happen is when I wrote the song.
I think some of us just get so busy in our little lives that we ignore things like that. Speaking of lyrics and the theme of this record, we talked about him a little while ago. Larry Barragán did the lyrics for God Machine. Is that right? How did he get involved?
I mentioned the metaphor earlier. You're juicy, you're dry. You're you know what I mean? You're flowing, you're not flowing. Well, it sounds vaginal. Anyway, I was kind of stuck with this. I've got 2 more songs I got to write, and I felt sometimes it's great to be under pressure when you have to be creative, man. Some of your best shit comes out. I'm not against that feeling at all. So anytime you guys want to call me and go, hey, are you done yet? Hey, hurry up. Next day, hey, hurry up. Are you done yet? I get it. I know. I don't think that they did, but these guys have been.
John, I can see you doing that.
No. The thing is they never did. It was other things that were holding up the record. We'll get into that. The curse of Serpent, because I feel like there was. He mentioned it a minute ago. So I ran into Larry. I think one of my bands had a gig in Houston, and there's Larry comes out when he can to see my projects play, and we're standing there at the merch table, and I'm like, I had like a couple more songs to write, and I'm like, Larry,
there you go.
Hey, and he was like, oh my God, really? And he was so into it. It was mere 3 days later, he just emailed me the lyrics.
And that song came out amazing.
God Machine, everybody, look for it.
Yeah. It came out, and when we cut the vocals for it, he had said, hey, Larry, wrote these lyrics, and we're gonna put it's called God Machine. And I was like, all right. We got in there, and immediately I was like, yeah, this is it. This is what this song needed right here. So yeah, pretty happy about that. Thanks, Larry.
Yeah. And Larry was so excited about it. I believe I leaked a demo, like the initial vocal track on top of and I think he thought it would be okay to like let a couple of his buddies check it out, and I think it leaked out.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, somebody was like, hey, is this you? And I was like, how in the hell did you get a copy of this? Like, like
it's a rough mix.
Yeah,
that shit would have been his shit. He would have been like on fire upset.
Not even it wasn't even the final. It wasn't the final mix
close.
or the vocal or anything. I mean, it was still pretty ripping. It was pretty ripping, but it wasn't finalized, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I know he was really proud of it. He posted so much about it that he wrote the lyrics, and he was honored that someone like you would be singing his lyrics on a fabulous metal record like this. And we talked about this a little bit, and John, I don't think a lot of people, I mean, if you're outside of like, the scene or involved with musicians, that, you've been a long time producer. You've done a lot of great records in this town. And, TC was paying you huge props a little while ago about the great, just how great this record sounds, man. So if you can, just talk a little bit about the production. What was the process like? How long did it take? I know you do your studio there in your fabulous home. So talk a little bit about that and your studio and stuff.
So, when we set out with this album in particular, there was a kind of a sense of we wanted it to be as raw and as in your face as it could possibly be. We didn't want to do a big, the overproduction that you hear a lot. We wanted it to be just two guitars, bass, vocals, drums, and let's go. And we always pride ourselves on being able to pull it off live. And there's obviously there's little things here and there that you can't avoid, but we got in the studio, and I think we had the drums done pretty quick. I mean, Shakes knocked out the drums, and we did guitars and stuff. And I don't, mix wise, I don't know. I can't remember how many times I started over. I would get a mix and I'd be like, yeah, this is it. And then
I'll get into that.
Yeah. and then a few days later, I just zero it out, and I'm like, all right, we'll start over. Because everything always sounds good.
I didn't have to. He was like,
my vocals aren't loud enough.
He was paying attention.
No, we all did.
I'm going to talk about the vocals.
It's a group effort. It's a total group effort. I take input from everybody. And that's what on the production side. That's what you want to do is.
Yeah.
Now you have to be within reason, and everybody in this band's a pro, so they don't want to just bring that up louder and louder to where it's drowning everything out. So. It was a long process, but it turned out, I couldn't be more happy the way it turned out, with these guys and what we did.
And before we get into the vocals, and I do want you to talk about that, I just have to say on camera that I think at your tenure, that you're sounding, I think, as great as I've ever heard you sound, and as vicious as I've ever heard you sound.
You ought to play live with us. And I'm on stage sometimes, and I'll literally screw up because I'm going, man, God, he's pulling that part off like so bad. And I have to remember, where I'm playing. But so I agree, 100%.
You're with the master and one of the legends of our scene. So, I guess before you start getting into the technicalities of the Vox, what I want to get at is within you as a musician, being in our scene for 30, 40 years now. 50 years now. I mean, what keeps that vigor, that tenacity, that brutality within you, even not only in the recording, but even when we see you play live at this point?
I don't warm up as much as I should, but I think maybe just using my voice on a daily basis because I'm a vocal teacher, and just kind of always trying to check my pitch. I'm very if the pitch is wrong or the tone is wrong, I'm gonna crybaby. I'll be bitching about it to myself, and then if there's whoever else I have to involve. I have to involve because it needs to be fixed, whether it is start over, like he had to start the mix over a few times, part of the curse of Serpent. I had to recut vocals. Well, let's back up a couple of steps because...
Why did you lose the track?
Hold on. No, it was kind of like this. It's like, okay, band writes song. Vocals are cut over what singer thinks are final tracks. Singer finds out they are not final tracks when the band says, all right, now we can start recording the record. I thought I was fucking done.
Yeah.
So they have to they change some of the tempos.
All right.
So you change the tempo of the song, you have to recut what, Rob? The drums.
Right.
Yeah, you have to recut everything,
right.
but you have to start with drum. Right, you have to start over. That's part of it. Restarting the mix is a whole new animal on top of that fact. Okay, well, I think to move forward a little bit, I think I re-recorded vocals for about 90% of the songs on this record 3 fucking times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's not anybody's fault that we were starting over because of tempo changes, or we're adding a bridge to this song, or whatever it was. I mean, yeah, that would be a reason. That, okay, yeah, well, I can't argue with that. You're still, when is a piece of art done, Rob?
Never.
Right, you can't.
Never
You can't.
done. Right.
You know, I'll speak for myself here. The vocals, to me, even on Serpent, thank you for the compliments, by the way. It really means the world to me. But it's not perfect. There's on Hero, pitchy as fuck. All over Hero, I'm pitchy as
But
fuck.
that's what we wanted, though. You know, that was the whole thing. It's like the imperfections is what
I'm
makes
okay
it good.
with
Yeah.
what's. I'm okay with what it is. But if I'm listening by like fine-tooth comb, microscopic, I'm going, that's pitchy, that's sharp as fuck.
Yeah.
That's terrible. But is it terrible? No, because no one's gonna know.
Yeah.
No one knows the way you feel about it.
Your average listener won't know, and I think I agree with Jv4. I think those minute obscurities within a recording kind of give it its flavor. Those are the things you kind of remember a record for.
That's exactly right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's exactly
And we're
right.
not even going to get into Bespeda. We're not going to go through that.
Oh, God. I was asking about that track before you got here, John. Yeah, let's move on because we're going to be here all night.